You got a pretty awesome team yourself. Thank you. We're really proud to be here. We're proud of this effort. We think this is a great initiative to make San Antonio an even better place. And economic mobility is an important part of our city. It's an important part of our country. And it's something that's made this country great. And unfortunately, we now suffer from a bit of a skills gap in developing the skills that we need as businesses to move our businesses forward. And according to a study by Opportunity Nation, young people in other industrialized nations now have a better chance of moving up the economic ladder than children in America and in San Antonio. That's not right. And we know that we can make a much bigger difference in driving success for our kids and for our businesses through work here. In 2000, 45% of American teens were employed. By 2011, just 26% of our teens were employed. And kids in their 20s, the participation dropped from 72 to 60% over that same time frame. This trend is not where we want to go. San Antonio high school graduation rates are improving, but college graduation rates are flat and low. So we know that developing middle skills that require a little bit more than a high school graduation, are very important to the future of our city and the future of our businesses. And we think that internships and apprenticeships are the critical way to make that happen. We're very proud of the San Antonio Works program for pushing us to do that. We know that San Antonio is better than everywhere else, and we're addressing this challenge head on. At HEB, we are inspired every day by our partners who are started as checkers and baggers and have moved their way onto great careers with our company. Here we've got a few. Over here at this table, we've got some great HEB partners. Leslie Vasquez, sitting here, began as a bagger while starting at Jefferson High School. She's an ambitious young woman. She cross-trained in several departments to make herself more versatile. She was the first member of her family to go to college, and she worked at a local HEB near her school at UTSA to support her education. She earned an HEB scholarship to fund her internship in communication, and today she's a full-time employee working in our communications department, helping create one of the most important things we do this year, celebrating HEB's 110th year anniversary. Thank you, Leslie. Matt Metzger, also sitting here, found that working at HEB was a great way to have a flexible job while he was an aspiring high school baseball player. Sorry, Matt, I promoted you quickly. He continued to work in our produce departments during the summer while attending the University of Notre Dame. But it wasn't until an internship at another big company fell through that he turned towards looking at HEB as a career, landing an internship with the accounting team, and he's now a strong leader in our finance department, one that we're very proud of. Thank you, Matt. Kevin Valle began as a checker through high school and college, and he worked with us through his bachelor's and his master's degree. And he is now one of the top recruiters at HEB Corporate, so if anybody needs a job, Kevin is the person to talk to. Chris Shaver started as a bagger and stayed with us through college while he was getting a scholarship and won a scholarship to attend Texas A&M in Corpus Christi. He eventually returned to San Antonio, is now an advisor in our HR technology advisor. Thank you very much, Chris. And Greg Suquette has a great story and a really unique start. He came to the U.S. from Mexico when his dad got sick, and unfortunately his dad passed away when he was a young child. He didn't speak English. He started in high school cleaning the bone barrel in our Uvalde store. He taught himself English. He put himself through college, working at HEB and working in the meat department, and he now leads a $5 billion business as Senior Vice President and General Manager for our SA West division. We are really proud of stories like Greg. We love stories like this of our HEB partners, and we hope there are going to be many more to come. SA Works is the way we think that can happen. and building internships throughout the companies in San Antonio and Bexar County, working in partnership with our educational partners, we think is the answer. We must nurture our homegrown talent with people who love our city and want to raise their kids and build a family here. At HEB, we think every high school kid, every bagger, every checker is a prospective future leader. We want to engage these students, give them a chance, see what they can do. National studies show that interns have almost a 25% better retention rate after 5 years when compared to hires from the outside. Happily, there are many San Antonio companies that understand this pattern and are working at developing skilled programs with internship opportunities. I would particularly like to thank Toyota, who has led San Antonio in this effort, and Stephanie Garcia for their commitment to providing great experiential learning opportunities to San Antonio kids. Through the SA Works initiative, Toyota has now committed to hiring an additional 150 kids this year. Thank you to Toyota. I'd also like to thank the impressive list of founding partners that has helped commit to driving SA Works for the next 5 years. Along with HEB, the founding coalition partners include Bexar County, Chase Bank, the City of San Antonio, CPS Energy, Holt Cat, Lockheed Martin, Mood, Rackspace, Toyota, and the Zachary Group. We are very thankful to all these great companies for driving this. We are very pleased with your commitment to make this a reality and a source of inspiration in this city. I would now like to thank all of those companies and introduce the husband of one of the best shoppers at HEB, Henry Cisneros.
Thank you, Craig. When I leave the office in the evening and I call home just to let Mary Alice know I'm on the way, she says, I'm at HEB. Honest to goodness. She shops at 3 HEBs. Rocio, which I think #2, the Gucci Bee on Broadway, and the Almost HEB, because there's things at the Almost HEB that there are not at other stores, she says. I was telling Craig, my wife grew up in a home grocery store. Her 9 children were raised next door to their house in a grocery store. So, first of all, food is very important to her. But secondly, she used to run back and forth over the course of the day, and she never has ended that habit. She goes to HEB every day. But it's a wonderful story. And let me just say, we're blessed in San Antonio to have some outstanding employers and companies, none more importantly than HEB. What a great, great partner to have in our city. Thank you, Kate, for your work. And thank you to all of the other companies that have come together to create this uniquely San Antonio idea, which is SA Works. I say uniquely San Antonio because we have a distinctive way here of identifying a problem, and then everybody comes together across all of the company divisions and neighborhood divisions and income level divisions and ethnic divisions and everything else to work on a solution. And SA Works is an important part of the solution that we must forge to improve our workforce training. Let me just share with you a few things that we know. We know that we have a growing economy. We're blessed in San Antonio. And it is also a changing economy. And we know that we have the opportunity to harness that growth for jobs and incomes, the kind of economic opportunity that we want for the people of our city. We know that. We know that we have worker shortages, not because we don't have enough people to work, but because too often there is a skills mismatch, as Craig referred to earlier. We know that we have made major investments in education, from pre-K through public schools, charter schools, community college, higher education, massive investments in human capital, but we also know that frequently the skills are not what the businesses need. So we find this gap that continues to exist. We know that employers tell us we are missing frequently not just skills, but workplace disciplines, the routines, the expectations that come with the workplace, and which can only come from workplace experience. And we know that we need to enhance in our community our workplace efforts, our workforce training efforts. The county judge, Nelson Wolff, who will speak in a few moments, and our mayor, Ivy Taylor, hosted a summit about a month and a half ago, which was a first-class effort to bring everyone together. Many of you were there. A lot of the folks who drive workforce training in San Antonio are in the room here. So this is a moment in which our city is converging around the idea of doing what we've done on the economic development side, which is an award winner. We've got one of the best economic development programs in the country. We're bringing industry 4,700 jobs from the Economic Development Foundation last year, for example. The biomedical sector growing to 140,000 people now, the largest economic sector in the city. We're doing a great job on economic development. The question is, are we going to be able to do the same kind of coordinated, cohesive, coherent, unified thrust on workforce side? Today is a solid step forward. Today is an investment in experiential learning. What is experiential learning? Well, in concrete terms, it means we want to develop a menu of options in San Antonio that includes internships, apprenticeships, job shadowing, teacher and counselor externships, career fairs, co-ops, all of those things that bring the business community closer in terms of telling us what they need, figuring out the right matches, supporting it with the proper training programs. That, in a word, is what SA Works is about. This is working around the world and in other parts of the United States. In Germany, for example, they have a long emphasis on blue-collar workers, workforce level training, and it's served their economy well. They're the strongest economy in Europe. Several parts of the United States, including the Northeast, have made this effort because they know the importance of experiential learning. Let me just give you some facts on the importance of this workplace experience. 60% of 2012 college graduates who participated in an internship received at least one job offer. 60% who participated in an internship ended up in a solid job. As Craig said a moment ago, 25% greater retention rate after 5 years interns as compared to outside hires. According to a 2012 study by the National Association of Colleges and Employers, businesses will hire almost 60% of their interns as full-time employees. So it's a benefit to the intern, obviously, if you've got a 60% chance that you're going to be hired once you've shown what you can do on the job. And 95% of employers today are looking for persons with the experience that they need. So the core principle here is industry aligning in a partnership with our educational institutions as we have never done before, on a scale and a breadth that we've never done before. And again, thanks to HEB for funding the staff that's going to kick this off, and to the other companies that have joined up to participate, because it is a serious commitment. Let me just describe the elements of what each partner in San Antonio Works is committed to do. Point: identify a staff person in talent management or human resources to lead the SA Works team within the company. Point: complete an employer skills assessment to be issued by the Chamber of Commerce through the educational institutions. Point: conduct an initial inventory of jobs and existing experiential learning opportunities that align with HB 5 so that we can include tasks that can be completed by student internships, apprenticeships, co-op students, and teachers. Bullet point: identify the baseline of opportunities and set an annual goal to provide experiential learning opportunities in high-demand jobs from the menu of options. Point: Complete the Business Coalition commitment form with the SA Works team detailing how many placements and in what areas they'll be provided by the company. Point. Share material so that the Chamber can develop a repository of best practices to be shared by a broader range of employers whom we hope to recruit to the SA Works Coalition. And finally, provide the company logo to the Chamber to be recognized as a partner in the SA Works Business Coalition. That's the work that Kate Rogers and Priscilla Camacho, and backed by Richard Pettis and the rest of the team at the Chamber, Denise Green, and our educational committee have done. One of the things that makes the Chamber the appropriate place to house this is that we're not just a staff of professionals, as good as they are, but we have this access to 2,000 members and a functioning education committee that is one of the more robust, led by Denise Green at the Chamber. The county judge has asked the Chamber, since the summit that occurred a few weeks ago, to take a look at the broader pantheon of workforce challenges that confront our city. And so we've asked Elaine Mendoza, who many of you know is on the board at Texas A&M today, the CEO of Conceptual Mind Works, former chair of Workforce Solutions, to join with Wayne Peacock of USAA and his team, who headed the revamping of our economic development programs in San Antonio, and Denise Green, the three of them, to join together and take a look at, beyond SA Works, what are the other things that we need to be doing? Experiential education is a big part of this, but how do we put together the best workforce coordinated range of options that any city in the United States has? It's the right thing to do for San Antonio. We've always said this is a two-fisted fight. One fist is the best we can do in economic development. Let's bring jobs here. Let's retain our existing businesses. Let's grow our economy. But we understand that the other fist hits with equal force our human capital investment, our education, and in this case, a specific focus on workforce development. The vision behind this, the drive behind this, has been our county judge, Nelson Wolff, as so many other things that he has touched during his tenure as mayor and county judge. Please welcome Nelson Wolff to come forward.
But thank you, Henry. I believe, over the time that I've been active in the last 40 years, that this is the most important endeavor that the Chamber of Commerce has ever taken on. This can dramatically change the face of San Antonio and dramatically change the education system in San Antonio by adding this crucial element of skilled training. As we all know, we're doing very well in San Antonio right now. Our economy is better than ever before. We're going to create 25,000, 30,000 jobs almost every year. At the same time, our unemployment rate's getting down probably to about 3.5 before the year is over. And we're seeing internal growth. I believe about a fourth of the jobs created last year were internally driven. And I think we're going to see more of that. And obviously, to keep this going, we've got to fill that gap of middle skills that are lacking in students today. So when HEB stepped up, Craig Boyan and then Kate Rogers stepped up and provided the funding for this effort, it jumped way ahead than what we thought was going to happen when Mayor Taylor and I had the summit a few weeks ago. There was no pause in between, and that would not have happened without Kate bringing HEB along and funding the two spots that we need to make this work. You have Priscilla Camacho, who has a tremendous understanding of what's underway. We had a great meeting the other day, and she understands what needs to be done and where the focus needs to be. And we are happy to have her on board in that critical position. I know Bruce Leslie's here this morning also, Chancellor of Alamo Colleges, and Mayor and I met with him even before the conference, and he stands ready to get more of these dual programs going. There's a lot going on, but don't lose focus of House Bill 5. That's the game changer. That's the one where we can really, really make a big, big difference. And the college district is going to be absolutely instrumental in making that happen. I believe they have dual programs in 9 different high schools today. I think Bruce said he can double that within 3 years? Within 3 years. To double the number of high schools within 3 years that are offering these dual programs. We had a young man the other day that did the prayer before the court started. He's graduating senior this year with a technical degree where he could go into the workforce tomorrow when he graduates and probably make at least around $30,000 a year. He will choose to go on to go to college. It gives you that choice of what you want to do. Extremely important. I was on a program the other day with Brian McGottry, who's the superintendent of Northeast Independent School District. And he spoke first. And one of the things that he focused on was House Bill 5 and the dramatic change that can make at education level 1 through 12, or pre-K through 12. So we have superintendents that are already zeroing in on that. Our first bibliotech site was in Hollandale Independent School District. And Ray Andrade, I believe, is with us here today. He's the superintendent of Hollandale Independent School District, and we forged a really close working relationship with him between bibliotech and his students, preparing them for the workforce. And we've had good partnerships with Toyota out there, who's providing robotics training for the kids in that area. So we have superintendents of school districts that are willing to step up and make this a reality. We have a great college district that's willing to step up and do that, but it has to be employer-driven. Bruce understands that, right, Bruce? Has to be employer-driven, much like the Alamo Academies have been, very successful. But we want to expand that success and be able to have numerous students involved in these dual programs and working toward a technical degree, a skill training, the middle skills, having the opportunity of internships with companies, having the opportunities with apprentice opportunities with companies. Peter John Holt operates a very, very well-skilled program out of his operation. At Rackspace, I had the opportunity to spend a couple hours with Graham Weston the other day on their coding academy, their cloud academy. So there's so many great things that are happening here today, and now it's going to be up to the Greater Chamber to step in and really drive it from the employer standpoint. We're happy to have with us today Wolff Andrade, who y'all may know is now the chairman of VIA, in addition to the work that she's doing on workforce development. And Marisa Pettis, I think Marisa was here. I had the opportunity to swear her in the other day as she was reelected to the school board statewide. And she's been a proponent of House Bill 5 also, which is really, really important. So we have the opportunity to move forward, to do something dramatically different in education, to offer students a pathway to jobs, and to give them the opportunity to play a vital role and to support our growing economy here in San Antonio. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I am so thrilled to be here with you, and thank you all for coming out on this very special occasion. I'm overjoyed to stand before you as Mayor of San Antonio and say that the City of San Antonio has gladly signed on as an industry partner for SA Works. As you all know, our economy, our world economy is more competitive than ever, and our community has to have a well-trained workforce in order to maintain our economic growth. We have to continue to offer those ladders of opportunity for our residents here. And as has been said, filling the job pipeline for our corporate citizens like HEB, Toyota, Holt, Cat, USAA, Rackspace, and then the many small businesses is a top priority for us. And so SA Works is a tremendous step forward, and I appreciate all the work that has gone into creating this program. Currently, manufacturing, education, and health services, as well as leisure and hospitality, lead employment sectors in San Antonio. and we'll work to ensure that these industries have a steady flow of well-prepared individuals for our employment needs, but we must also educate and prepare our young people for jobs in growing areas like cybersecurity and biotechnical industry. I believe that this SA Works initiative has the possibility to dramatically enhance our workforce here in San Antonio. In front of us, we have a unique opportunity to come together as one San Antonio to create the workforce that we need for our 21st century economy. Now, the number one site selection factor for companies isn't the size of the tax abatement they receive or the cost of real estate or energy prices. What companies most care about is access to a talented and well-trained workforce. We know that there are jobs here in our community that are going unfilled. There are high-paying jobs in sustainable industries that can offer our residents social and economic mobility. And additionally, many of these jobs aren't just jobs. They are professions that have clear career ladders, which offer tremendous opportunities to those employees. And yet, employers across the community are reporting gaps in their workforce. This is a growing challenge as baby boomers exit the workforce, and it should be a concern for all of us. So for us to remain a desirable city for industry retention, expansion, and attraction, our workforce has to be more skilled. To be a leader in the 21st century, we have to be at the forefront of innovation and collaboration, and SA Works is an incredible start in that journey. San Antonio can become a national model for experiential learning at all levels, but we all have to work together in order to reach that goal. Our industry leaders have to work with the educational system, and the educational system must be open to the needs of industry, and policymakers like me have to prioritize funding to leverage this work. And then the entire community must become fully engaged in letting everyone know about these opportunities. If we're successful, and we will be, we can ensure that all students are graduating with the necessary skills and technical certifications to pursue their post-secondary aspirations and their goals to attain high-wage employment. Let me pause just for a moment and talk about a personal story about my own family. As many of you know, I started out my life on the East Coast, but my parents actually were from North Carolina. They moved to New York for better opportunities. And my dad, he had maybe a 10th grade education. His family was involved in farming in South Carolina, and so he didn't want to continue in that, and so he moved up north for opportunities. But the 10th grade education, it seemed as if his opportunities would be limited. This was 1960s. He got a job sweeping in a printing press, and one day someone asked him if he wanted to learn how to use the press. And so he eventually learned that trade and became a printing pressman. He had this opportunity because he joined the apprenticeship program there and learned a craft that would support his family for decades. And then his career and the stability that he provided for our family allowed me to go on to Yale and become the first member of our family to graduate from college. And so that is the essence of the American dream. And for a while, I think it seemed that that dream may have been lost. That story is an American success story. And so though times have changed, together we are working to build more of those stories, to create more of those stories. We're striving to ensure that all students and their families have opportunities to achieve their own dreams. For decades, our education policy has been focused on improving graduation rates at the secondary and post-secondary level, and we do still have work to do in that area. However, we failed to address the fact that students have had such limited opportunities to develop real-world skills that are applicable and then lead to high-wage employment. And so some of the legislative changes, as Judge Wolff mentioned, HB 5, will allow us to address that. But additionally, employers have been unable to really connect with that education system for a variety of reasons. We won't reach our full economic development potential without that high school workforce. So from cradle to career, we need to find solutions to the challenges that have plagued us. I believe that SA Works can finally help us to address this mismatch of opportunity and desire. Right now, there are an estimated 1,000 students served annually through existing experiential learning opportunities. If we reach our goal to have more than 10,000 local students participating in these opportunities by the year 2020, we will have remarkably changed this community forever. The stark reality is that we can't rely on the federal government or the state government to create the innovative programs that address our local needs. We have to do it ourselves. We know that the globalization of commerce and continued advancement of technology requires that we all think differently. And so what we've done in the past won't carry us forward. We can't rely on business as usual to create a stronger economy and workforce. And so we have to be innovative, creative, open, and collaborative. We have to throw out the old rule book and build the community that we want and we need. And so the only limitation is our own imaginations. As we collectively build our human infrastructure for tomorrow, we often talk about making investments in streets and drainage, but we cannot forget our human infrastructure. This work is imperative for our future. And I believe that by investing in people, we're helping to build an infrastructure of opportunity. And so again, I thank you for allowing me to be here today and be part of this exciting kickoff. And I ask that everyone in here join me in supporting SA Works. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Well done. I'd like to take a moment to, so we talked a little bit about partnerships, about all the things we're doing to try to bring young people together with businesses for the experiential learning part. But one of the parts that we haven't talked much about is what the state's role and how the state is helping bring the entirety of not just San Antonio, but other parts of the state together to help us. And so with that, I'd like to ask Texas Workforce Commissioner Wolff, who represents businesses, by the way, to come up and talk to us a little bit about what she's working on and the fantastic things that are more to come. You know, talk about a friend of San Antonio. We have no better friend than Wolff. Please join me in welcoming Wolff.
Good morning. Good morning. You know, I sit there and I am just beaming with pride, because this is my hometown, and I am so proud. HEB, thank you so much, Craig, for leading this effort. It's exactly what we need to do, so I applaud you and thank you for doing this. You know, I'm the wife of the constant shopper, because I come in from Austin and I call, my husband says, I'm at HEB, what do you need? Every day. Since the new HEB in Bernie opened, he's there every day. So he's not like everyone, but we're also loyal customers because we appreciate the great corporate partner that you are. And to all the company partners, thank you so much. But you know, everything that's been said this morning is right on target. You know, Mayor, thank you for taking the initiative to not wait for state government or federal government to tell you what to do with this community. Judge, you've been a great supporter of always being innovative and thinking outside the box, and I certainly thank you for that. Chairman Cisneros, you know, he came to visit my office and in Austin, and it's interesting because this is a man that's always making sure that we take advantage of every tool that's available. He knows how to do that, and I think with the Chamber also championing this effort, it's going to be extremely successful. One of the things that I always talk about is the fact that San Antonio has one of the best community colleges. Dr. Leslie, thank you so much for providing all the leadership for our young men and women. But you know, what we want you to know from the state level is that the state is very proactive in making sure that we support our communities. And I will tell you that San Antonio works. As I travel throughout the state and hear about many programs that are being started up in different communities, I think it's one of the best that I've heard. So I know that you will be extremely successful. in developing human capital. Because the Chairman Cisneros is right. There is no economic development without human capital. You know, when I travel the world trying to promote Texas, that's what the first question that was asked of all employers that were, or all companies that were looking at Texas is, will you have the workforce for me to move my company to Texas? And I can say that now you've given that tool available or that asset available for the economic development here to say, yes, we will. And let me tell you what we're doing in investing in the future. So the state is making sure that we provide you with the tools. You know, externships is something that we started, that we got funded last year. Gail Hathaway is here from Alamo Workforce Solutions. She knows all about it. And in fact, I think you've already applied for an application and have gotten funding for it. And so what we want you to know is that we want to be your partner. You need to tell us what you need, and we sit down with you and figure out how can we make this work. So absolutely, Texas Workforce Commission can be a great partner in this initiative. So we just need to figure out, you know, how it is that we can support you. But internships is something that we've also asked for additional funding, apprenticeship programs, externships, House Bill 5, it's up to us to make it successful in order for it to continue. So isn't it wonderful to live in a state where you know that your state supports local communities? And the biggest benefit that we have is when we know that our corporate sponsors are here to help us. So once again, thank you so much. Congratulations on this effort. And keep in mind that we look forward to working with you. As chair of NALVIA, also, we also would like to be a partner with you. So please come visit us and let us know how we can help you make sure that we offer you the public transportation needed to get our students to where they need to be. So thank you all so much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well done, as always. Well, I'd like to thank all of our speakers for coming here and talking about their excitement and their commitment to helping us. But it's not just us. It's everybody else that's not here today that we want to get engaged in this process. Now that you've heard about SA Works and what we want to do, it's time to hear about our goal. We as a city, and as a business community, you know, you heard a number a moment ago that the mayor mentioned 10,000. But I think that, in all honesty, Mayor, I think we want to take it to that next level. We're really, really excited, and so we want to announce today that we are committed to reaching our goal of providing 20,000 opportunities for our students and teachers by the year 2020. 20,000. We commit that there will be more internships with businesses and increased opportunities for teachers and counselors to shadow industry members in order to learn what it takes to work in the field. We commit that there will be increased numbers of apprenticeships in our local businesses, affording people the opportunity to learn while they work there, as you talked about your own personal story. We commit that there will be additional opportunities for students of all ages to shadow business professionals to get a glimpse of what the possibilities are in their community. To all this, your San Antonio Chamber of Commerce commits to accomplishing this with the help of each of you. At this time, I'd ask each of you that are committed and wanting to get committed, there's a form on each of your places that we'd like for you to look at and sign. And we want to help you. That this whole thing is about the Chamber coming to your aid. If you have a desire, if you have a thought, if you have a glimpse of an idea in your mind, we want to seed that idea and that glimpse into something substantial for our young people. You know, I come from a business background. My daddy started a landscaping business when I was a child in 1969. And so my older brother and I were his first employees. So I had experiential learning, and I didn't even know it was experiential learning. But I can assure you that it was that opportunity that's led to my success today. I learned how to be a mechanic, I learned how to be a salesman, I learned how to be a laborer, I learned how to be an executive. All those things came to me and has led to what I'm doing here today. So please take a moment and take these with you if you have other partners, friends, people that you deal with, businesses, because what we want to do is we want to provide you that opportunity to connect your ideas with those experiential learnings. So with that, I'd like to ask Kate Rogers to come back to the stage and close out our program. Kate?
Okay, well thank you once again to all of our speakers, Craig, Richard, Henry, Mayor Taylor, and Judge Wolff. We are grateful not only for your remarks this morning, but also for your support. It wouldn't be possible without you. All of our speakers will be available for interviews immediately following the program. We're going to do it up on the mezzanine, but first we're going to do some photos here up on the stage. Also, I'm asking that you guys join me in one more giant round of applause for all of our founding partners. We hope that through their leadership, some of you in attendance today have also been inspired to join us, and that you've completed the forms that Richard alluded to at your tables. It's going to take all of us.